For PhD, sometimes a cover letter is asked. Today we are going to speak about that. What is the structure? Then in the end, I'll show you the screen recording of an actual cover, which I have not written, but it gives an insight into how a cover letter should be written. What is the difference between a cover letter and a resume? Cover letter, as the name suggests, it is a letter. It is a conversation. If you are having a conversation with someone, you are not going to speak in bullet form, to the point. This is this, this is this, this is this, isn't it? So your resume will show everything, your achievements and everything in a very formal manner. Where your personality comes into play is your cover letter. In a cover letter, you can showcase your strengths and your desires also on why you want to work with the company. Cover letter needs to be customized according to the position. Actually, even resume needs to be customized according to position. But customization for cover letter is much more as compared to a resume, because it has a personal touch, it has a personal feel. Your resume is a format. Your cover letter is a story. And what kind of story would you like to tell your potential employer? A cover letter is also called as a motivation letter or an academic cover letter. It fills any kinds of gaps that you were not able to put in your resume. It fills those gaps. Tailor it and match it according to the potential employer. Professional communication skills and your enthusiasm, your story behind it. It has to be clear and distinct. At the same time, it has to have your touch, your unique touch specific to your application. If there are 10 candidates who have similar qualifications, similar certifications, then also based on cover letter, it is easier for employer to judge whether you are a good candidate or a bad candidate. Of course, the interview will decide that, but preliminary analysis could be done. So without further ado, let's begin. With all the formal letters, even cover letter has an introduction, the body of the letter and a conclusion. Let's start with introduction. The first thing is to outline who you are, what are you currently doing, what is your background. Then secondly, if there is any kind of reference number that the advertisement had or some kind of advertisement had, then it will come in the introduction. It can come into the subject of the letter also, but it can come in the introduction as well. Who you are, what position are you applying for, and how did you get to know about this particular position. Put out your best compelling reason to work with the potential employer. Obviously, it goes without saying, it needs to be precise and to the point. Moving on to the body of the letter, the relevant skills that you have that will be used in this particular position. For example, if you are applying for a PhD under a supervisor who is working with immunotechniques and immunology techniques, if you have any relevant experience in that field, even if it is remotely attached, you can make it work and you can say as to how your skill would be useful for his work. Your agenda should be how your skills would be put to better use for the benefit of that particular person. It is not the other way around. You cannot say that if I get to work here, I will get good experience, I will get good exposure. That is your benefit. The highlight should be the benefit of the person you are applying for. If there are any kinds of certificates or any kind of credentials, then you can say that you have attached it. So whatever you are saying, you are backing it up with evidence. If you have previously worked in that company and you are now applying for a separate position, then you can say what kind of work you have done under that supervisor and how that can help in this present scenario. Conclusion could be just why you are a fit, that we have already discussed in the previous section, but summarizing overall, if you want to give a lasting impression, what you can offer and how you will be a good fit. You can make a respectful request to review your application and get back to you. We have discussed what we have to put into the application. Now, what all to avoid, what mistakes to avoid. Number one, repetition. If you have scored a very high rank in particular exam or something credential you have stated, it does not make sense to repeat it, because if a person reads once, they will know your caliber from the way you are speaking, the way you are answering interview. Your caliber is already validated, so there is no need to repeat the information that is already there. Focus on key achievements, whatever has been the main focus points of your career and how you have excelled. Make sure that no statements are made without any evidence. You have done this, but there is no proof. If you have to state such achievements where because of whatever reasons you don't have any kind of evidence, then during the interview you can bring it up. Be clear and concise. Avoid jargons, difficult words that even the other person cannot understand. Be simple and make sure your point is put across. If you are using tough words, the message goes that you don't know what you are speaking. Any kind of arrogance, negativity, unnecessary arguments to be avoided completely. Any kind of opinions beyond your position, they are not required. Grammatical checks and academic writing checks need to be done. So make sure you are not just copy pasting from a website your letter, because plagiarism checkers and all, they will catch everything. So now that all these things are in place, let me take you through the screen recording of a cover letter that I found on the internet. So here I'm showing you a template that you can use for writing your own cover letter, and I'll leave this link in the description box. This is a clear example of how a cover letter should be written. Here in the first, he is giving a little bit of background and how he has developed the interest. First para is just an introduction. Moving on to next, he is giving information about himself, how he has worked, where he has worked. And if you see, these are not details, these are not bullet points, it's in paragraph form and it's written in a way that is quite like telling a story. Elaborated on how he admires the faculty members of the target institutions, and basically he has highlighted few points about that particular institution where he wants to work. The end is done by thanking, and if there are any requests, then you can put forward. So this is how a cover letter should be written. With that, I'll take your bye.